Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sam's Economics. To put things in the proper context, the first question that we must ask is what is economics? Some students think economics is a very tough thing, but it is not at all tough. But just look around you, you will see everywhere there is scarcity in human society. And human beings spend their time in solving this problem of scarcity. So we can define economics in our own words as a social science that studies human activities for solving the problem of scarcity. My dear students, please remember, this is the definition of economics. It studies human behavior engaged in solving the problem of scarcity. Please underline the word scarcity. Scarcity is everywhere, and people are working like ants day in and day out to solve the problem of scarcity, and that's economics. Now, the core subjects of economics are two. One is microeconomics and the other is macroeconomics. Let us start with microeconomics. To solve the problem of scarcity, the market economy puts a price tag on everything. A thing that is very abundant has a very low price generally, and a thing that is scarce has a very high price. So high priced scarce commodity is rationed out very strictly, and low priced abundant commodity is given abundantly. So we want to find out how the market determines the price tag of every commodity. So please remember, every commodity has a market. For example, there is rice market for rice, there is fish market for fish, and so on. Now our question is how a price is determined in a market. So our second question is how price is determined in the market. First, let us know that in the market there are two sets of people or two groups of people. One group is those who desire the commodity. We can call them consumers who express their demand. And the other group is the people who supply it. We call them suppliers. So our next question is, what is demand? And how the people who demand a commodity express their demand. To answer the question, what is demand? Please remember, in a market economy, demand is desire for a commodity backed by purchasing power. If a beggar has a demand, a desire, it is not a demand. Only when a person who demands a commodity, he must have purchasing power, and he must be willing to spend the purchasing power for the commodity. So demand is desire for a thing backed by purchasing power. Now, next question is how demand is expressed by the people in the market. There are many factors that determine the demand. And in this context, we find a relationship between the most prominent factor that is called price and the demand. There is a relationship between price and demand. The relationship between price and demand is expressed through a demand schedule that we will now discuss. Let us write down a demand schedule. There is two columns. There are two columns. One is headed by the letter P, meaning price, and the other column is headed by the letter QD, meaning quantity demanded. Let's say when price is $5, a person desires or demands 10 sticks of cigarettes. 10 sticks of cigarettes. Then when the price is $4, let us suppose he demands 12 sticks a day. And when $3, he demands 14 sticks, and so on. This is called a demand schedule. A demand schedule is a list which shows hypothetical prices and corresponding quantities demanded. This demand schedule is also sometimes expressed in the form of a card called demand card. We will now draw the demand card from this demand schedule. The horizontal axis measures the quantity demanded, and the vertical axis measures the price. As you know, the point of origin shows 0, and equidistant spaces show $1 here. And on the horizontal axis, each space, let us say, each space shows 2 units. For the combination of $5 and quantity 10, we have a point on the graph shown by point A. For price $4 and quantity 12, there is point B. And for price 3 and quantity 14 units, we have point C. And through these points, we get a card, the card DD, which we call the demand card. You may be asked a question, what is a demand card? A demand card is a card that shows what are the quantities demanded at different prices of a commodity. So, ladies and gentlemen, so far today. Next day, you are welcome to SAMS Economics for the other topics that will follow.